Hey there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Olivia, a developmental physical therapist and mom, and I'm on a mission to help you find the right products for you and your little one. Today, we're heading to Target to find the best options to add to your baby registry. So, whether you're expecting a new mom or this isn't your first rodeo, this one is for you. One of my favorite products and brands is the Halo Sleep, and I don't think you can go wrong with their Halo bassinet. Let's talk about it. So, this one is a swivel sleeper, so it's going to swivel close so you can keep them by your bed, and it's going to go on top of the mattress in a very safe way so you can be really close to them. I love that it's a 2-in-1 system because it converts to a safe nap time rest, so it can kind of like detach off of the stand and you have a safe place for your baby to nap. And then a big feature that I think is really important, especially during those like night feeds, is having easy access to the bassinet. The wall lowers for easy access. So you can see up here that this will lower, so when you wake up to feed, you don't have to reach over, bend up and pick them up. You can just kind of slide into getting that access. And it makes a big difference when you're doing it all the time, when you're losing sleep, when your baby's losing sleep. So it just makes it a little bit more accessible. So getting a really high quality bassinet is going to be the move. Okay, next up, you're gonna need a sound machine, and I highly recommend the one by Hatch. They have a couple of generations and options for you, but the one that I like is just the original Hatch Rest. This one is a sound machine as well as a light source, so it's going to really help your baby and you build healthy sleep habits. So when you put a sound machine on, the purpose of that for your newborn is to mimic the sounds of being in the womb, right? So they're used to all that swishing sound, you talking, all of these muffled sounds in the womb. So when they're a newborn, earthside, you want to kind of mimic that sound. And so the Hatch Rest, the Hatch machine, has really great sound options to put at a volume that's appropriate for them, to help them sleep. It's also a really great cue that it is time to go to sleep. So when you turn this on when it's time to go to nap or when it's time to go to bed, they start to say, okay, I hear this, so now let's wind down and go to sleep. So it's really establishing good, healthy sleep habits. And then it kind of just grows with you for, their entire life. You can use this as an adult. We love it as well. And then what I really like about the Hatch specifically is it's very adaptive, and it comes with an app. So you can turn it off remotely. You don't have to be in the room to adjust it and stuff. So it's really intuitive. I highly recommend. When they're a newborn, kind of what we talked about with the Hatch machine, you're mimicking being in the womb. So when they're little, a swaddle is going to mimic that compact tightness that you get in the womb. It's going to help them settle and soothe themselves for sleep. So I like a swaddle because it's part of the 5 S's for sleep, which is, let me see if I can remember: swaddle, sway, shush, side, and suck. So those are the 5 S's that help your baby soothe, right? So when they're going crazy and they're crying and you can't get them to calm down, go ahead and try and pick one of the 5 S's to see if that helps. So the sway, like a big movement, will help. We'll talk about that later, of like bouncers and swings, or even doing it yourself. Swaddle, suck, a pacifier, making sure they're getting a lot of like oral soothing. But a swaddle is really helpful because it's going to help them regulate their body and bring everything kind of nice and tight and compact in. So what I love about the Swaddle Up specifically is it has kind of this design that lets your baby keep their arms up and closer to them. So it's a preference for sure. We're here at Target, so you can get kind of any swaddle, and you might have to do a lot of trial and error to see which one works best for your baby. But this one is great because it allows them to kind of get their arms closer to their mouth, versus some swaddles, their arms are down. So it's just a preference, but I really like this one. I like that it's easy to zip up, and then you can transition them to like having their arms out. And so that self-soothing is going to equal more sleep. So highly recommend a swaddle. Make sure you're getting one that is not too snug on their hips. You still want to allow movement within their body. You don't want to trap them. We're just kind of like swaddling them. So there's a big difference there, but you can't go wrong with the Swaddle Up. I love Halo and kind of all of these too. So again, it's just a preference. Okay, let's talk high chairs. When you're registering for all of your stuff, high chairs would definitely come up. So here's some points that I want you to remember. Number one, a high chair is something you want to invest in for good quality and not really cut too many corners. I love the new high chairs that are kind of out because there's not a lot of adjustability in this seat, which is really great because it's going to promote a nice upright posture. And what I always talk about on my social pages is posture is everything, especially for feeding. You want to keep them safe. So when you have safe posture, you're going to have safe feeding. So I always look for a high chair that has a footrest that can adjust. When they're a little bit older, starting like solids, you want that kind of, we call it like distal support in their legs to provide proximal support in their torso. So I always kind of use the analogy of like when you're at a bar or like sitting on a bar stool and us shorties can't reach the floor and so our legs are dangling, you feel like unstable, right? You're either like crossing your legs or you're like making your base really wide to try and get support. That's like what babies feel like when they don't have a footrest. So a footrest is essential. Next, I always look for a adjustable tray. You don't want it fixed because your baby's gonna grow, so you wanna have that ability to slide the tray to fit them better or slide it out to like account for their growing body. And then another one, a big safety feature is having a harness. I recommend a 5-point harness to where it's going to lock in kind of their upper torso and their waist at their hips. So a 5-point harness is really safe. And then for the parent, I like an easy access harness where you're not there like struggling to get it out. So most of these are really intuitive harnesses where you just push a button and it releases. So highly recommend that. A bouncer is something you're going to have because it's going to give you time back, but we have a lot of things to talk about in terms of what to look for in a bouncer. So let's get into it. One of my favorites is the one by Baby Bjorn. Baby Bjorn is an excellent brand. They really hone in on safety and quality. So when you invest in a product like a Baby Bjorn bouncer, this is going to last you also into like your next kid if that's your choice. Like it's very high quality and the material is easily washable without losing the integrity of all of that. So I like the bouncers that have recline options. And what I like about Baby Bjorns and some other bouncers as well is that they self bounce. So they're using your baby's motion to get that rocking concept. So technically they're like self-soothing because when they move, it bounces. So you want to encourage them to move more so they bounce more. So then they soothe more and it's comfortable and it's kind of turning into like this play activity. So you can really utilize this to your advantage. So let's talk about the recline options. So there's a couple here. I need 2 hands to show the recline, so I'm going to just kind of show you here. So we have it kind of very high up and upright. This position is going to be for when you have a more head control with your baby. So a newborn is going to be more reclined because they don't have that head control. So you want to meet them where they're at with that. So they're going to be nice and reclined. They have a great toy bar here. Then when they get a little bit older with a lot more control in their body, you can sit them more upright because their head is going to be able to hold that gravity dependent position. And so that's what I really like about these is there's a lot of recline options. Also, this goes completely flat to where you can like tuck it under a sofa and it's not super chunky. So I like the Baby Bjorn ones. Munchkin makes a great one. The Mom Cozy makes a great one. We'll go ahead and link a lot of options for you at different price points that are kind of all approved and high quality that are going to support your baby's development. So this is a bouncer, and let's talk about another option that's really great is a lounger. Come on. Okay, so this is a lounger. So this is a little bit different because this is just completely more passive for what your baby's going to rest on. So it's not a bouncer where they're getting activity, but maybe you need to lay your baby down on a safe surface, which is always going to be the floor, guys. With these, the floor. We're not putting them on tables. We're not putting them on counters. We're not putting them on your lap. These need a very supportive, stable surface, and the best place for that is the floor. So this is going to be organic cotton fabric that is slightly cushioned. That's going to have a little bit of a barrier around your baby to block them from like rolling away, right? So this is a great thing for a newborn, again, to just lay them down to get some things done and some rest for you. My recommendation for these is to keep them awake in here. There's a safety aspect that I wanted to touch on where they should not be sleeping in here. If they fall asleep in here because they're so comfortable, that's okay, but you want to remove them and put them in a safe sleep surface, which is a crib, bassinet, no blankets, no items near them, because the issue is these walls are nice and padded and thick. You don't want your baby rolling into them in their sleep and starting to block their airway. We don't want that. So this is a great active play space for them. This one says that you can do tummy time on here, which is great. It's the right enough cushion for your baby to use their elbows to prop and do some tummy time, which y'all know I'm a fan of starting day one to get that head control nice and secure. But yeah, this is a lounger. We love it if used appropriately and safely. Let's talk about strollers. This is going to be something you're going to want to add to your baby registry. There are so many types of systems. We have like travel systems, we have pram systems, we have a lot of attachments that can really kind of make your life easier. But ones that I always look for is if they have, just because I think it makes it a little bit easier on you, is when they're newborn and little, a car seat attachment. And then I love when they have a bassinet setting. So when you're like out for a walk and your baby isn't active yet, they're not rolling, they're not sitting up, they are pretty newborn, you have the bassinet option so they can just kind of lay down flat. That mimics being in a bassinet. And then of course, like something like this is they can sit more upright when they have a little bit more of that head control and that body awareness and control. These are all jogging strollers. That's something that's an option for you if you're very into that, or if you're doing a lot of walks on different terrain where you need the wheel component is usually what makes a big difference in a jogging stroller versus a travel system. There's some that are easily collapsible for like the airport. We'll make sure to link all of my favorites, but I just wanted to touch on strollers. Let me know what questions you have specifically, and we can answer those in another video as well. Okay, now that we've talked about all of the essentials and gear, let's get into some playtime activities and toys that are going to support your baby's development. Let's go. Okay, first up we have some goodies. Minus this, I want you to throw this jolly jumper, door frame jumper out of your cart. That is not necessary, where it's not needed. It's very damaging. It doesn't support their development. I can go on and on, so leave that behind. But what I want you to get is a really excellent high quality play gym, and I could not recommend the one by Love Every enough. I want you to think of a play mat and a play gym as a kind of their hub that they play at every single day on a safe space on the floor. So this is a very wide, high quality mat where your baby's going to start exploring movement, rolling, tummy time, sitting. And then what I love about the Love Every one is it has so many features that are going to enhance their sensory kind of integration that we need to start working on, right? So there's crinkle toys, there's colors, there's different textures on here. Everything is very safe and high grade, like either silicone or wood, and nothing super chemically treated. So it is an investment, but you will use this every single day, multiple times a day. I could not recommend it more. What I also love is it comes with like the black and white cards that you can insert to a piece on the mat. And what that does, along with a mirror, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is it really enhances their visual stimulation. Babies are born, they can only see black and white, and they can only see very high contrast images, and they can also only see about 8 inches away from them. So we really have to work on developing their visual acuity. So having black and white cards kind of propped in front of them really stimulates them, and it's a really great way to start working on all of that stuff. So a play gym is the way to go. Couldn't recommend this one more. If you're looking for an easy gift to like throw in as a filler that's still developmentally appropriate, I love this one by Itsy Ritsy. This is their sensory tummy time mirror, and I love this too for traveling. So you can attach this, it has a ring, so you can attach it to like their car seat handle or their stroller handle. And the thing about this is it has a really excellent mirror. We've talked about mirrors before, how they're so great for encouraging engagement with your baby, whether they're looking at it on their back or again in a car seat, or it's on their tummy time. It props up nicely. So I wanted to mention this because it's smaller, so it's something you can just kind of like grab and go to Target, go to Walmart, and go to your local store and grab it. But we'll also link this too. This is also like on Amazon, so be sure to link that one. Okay, so speaking of on the go, let's go get into some really good travel essentials. Come on. When I think of on the go travel, I think of feeding my baby. So if you're exclusively breastfeeding or pumping, what has come on the market now, like back in our day, you had to go with a kind of electric breast pump that you had to stay attached to. And while this is excellent, this is the Spectra S1. Excellent, highly recommend. It's super powerful and it's like kind of a very classic standard product. What I recommend is these wearable electric breast pumps. I love the one by Willow. I used this when I was with my newborn and I was still treating my patients, working full time, and I would have to pump, you know, and so I would stick these in my bra and go about treating my patients, doing my errands, and it was still pumping. And then it has a lot of features where you can store your milk safely. And then I would get home and do more like of an electric breast pump. But it's great for on the go because you don't have to stop. So it's very accessible for moms. So highly recommend these. I know a lot of moms don't like to talk about this, and you certainly can't get a lot of information out on social media about the breastfeeding journey. So I'll make sure to link everything I recommend for you, from breast milk collectors to disposable nursing pads to all of my favorite pumps to cleaning supplies. I got you covered. I'm going to link everything down below for you. Okay, so when I think of on the go and travel, I think of a baby carrier, and there are so many baby carriers on the market. What I look for in carriers is more ergonomic to your baby, so protecting their hips, protecting their spine. I have all of my favorites linked down below, and let me know if you want a dedicated baby carrier video in terms of what to look for, how, why, all of the details behind it. But definitely grabbing a baby carrier that works for you is going to be such a game changer in your travel on the go essentials. And then for diaper bags, guys, this is something that is so personal to every family, and you can have multiple per family. Like I had one, my husband had one. I had a diaper bag, like a backpack, and then I did like a fanny pack for quick trips, or a diaper clutch if I wanted it to look a little bit more polished. I'll link all of my favorites below. Some things that I really pay attention to is the opening of the zipper. Like, is it on top? Is it a flap? Which one do you think you will need that's more accessible to you? And then another big one is if you're pumping a formula feeding, I'll look at if these pockets have insulation. So if they keep your milk stored and at a safe temperature. That was a big one for me, but I'll make sure to link all of my favorites below. Okay, guys, and lastly, let's get into baby care essentials. These are things that you're going to use daily to keep their hygiene up and maintained. So let's get into my first recommendation, which is the Grow With Me bathtub by Frida Baby. I highly recommend this one. So this one has an excellent position because it has 4-in-1 positions in one tub. So it goes from a hammock lounger, which is what you're going to use when they're little, like 0 to 3 months. Then it goes from a relaxing recliner, and then it has a nice little device where they're learning to sit. So it kind of starts to act like a seat, and so it props them up into sitting when your baby wants to sit in the tub. I love that feature. And then it's just like a tub, like a sit and soak space for when they're older. This is super easy to clean. It's incredibly safe. It has a very secure seat bar, and it's quick drying. This one is something that is completely takes the stress out of bath time. I highly recommend this one. Frida Baby always does a good job, so love that one. What I recommend in this section is getting a really good grooming set. I love this one because it kind of takes care of all of the hygiene components, like your nails, your hair, a toothbrush for when they're older, and then like a scrubber for bath time. Cradle cap is super common, and it is just a type of dermatitis of sometimes some people say it's like an overproduction of oil and sebum in your baby because again, they're new, so it's not regulated yet. So sometimes it'll just be like a lot of buildup and flakes. So you want to kind of gently descale and deflake that with these really soft bristles. So I always like recommending something that has something to manage that because it's so common. And then it has this electric ease nail file. So your baby's nails are going to grow like crazy when they're newborns, and you want to make sure that you're keeping them trimmed because they touch their face and they end up scratching themselves. So having a nail file, and this one is like when you go to the nail salon, like it's not a clip, so you don't have to worry about harming them, but the file is really gentle to just kind of buff out the nail. So I really like this case and highly recommend. I'll link all of my other favorites as well. Ooh, I love this one by Frida Baby. This is their 3-in-1 nose, nail, and ear picker. and it's super intuitive for getting out earwax or little things in their ears, and then it's for your nose and then their nails. So let's get into this one. So this one has 4 different types of picking pleasure. So this one goes in your nose to get rid of like dry boogers, for your nails or under the nails, a really gentle device for your ears, and kind of an all-purpose one as well. This is just excellent. It's really easy to clean. It's portable to throw in your diaper bag and travel with. Highly recommend, and I'll link this one as well. Okay, we just scratched the surface. I just gave you 5 components, but there is so much more. So let me know, like and subscribe for more, and let me know what you want to see next.